a very casual Scream fan, and the fact that I like the movies, but I don't absolutely love them. And when I heard the original idea for Scream 7, which was told by the actor who played Billy Loomis, which was to have Billy Loomis kind of form and help Samantha Carpenter become the next Ghostface. And I was very mixed on that idea. But after seeing this movie, I would have rather watched that movie. But unfortunately, we do not see the end of that trilogy because, fortunately, Melissa got unfairly fired, so we do not get the end of the Carpenter Sisters trilogy, which I did think about when watching this movie, so it did cross my mind. There are people also boycotting this movie as well. And if you are on the thing of like, do I want to boycott? Do I not want to go see this? Or do I want to miss it? Or do I want to go see some theaters? I would recommend, if you do want to go see it, wait for it to hit streaming. And stream it for free if you can. Because this is not the worst movie, but it's not a good Scream movie. Now, Scream 7 tells the story of Sydney and her family getting targeted by a ghost face. Now, there are some things I actually did like about this movie. There are small moments that I did appreciate. One with Gail in the car that made me laugh. The main with Tandem and the reasoning behind that, I actually thought that was really sweet and I liked that dynamic. The daughter was fine. I think Asma, she was fine too. I like Gail and Sydney a lot in this movie. I like Gail more in this movie than I did the last two. I just like her character more. We do see some nerve damage on her, so she does have some damage from what happened previously, so she's not like perfectly scotch-free, so I do like that they tried some stakes with that, so can appreciate that aspect of the movie. Going into the a mix for me is going to be the opening. Do I like what they're going for in the opening? Yes. Is toxic fandom like they're talking about earlier in the movies? Yeah, it's not the most original thing out there. But I do like the opening. I think it's very fun. I do like what they go for. This would be my favorite openings for the franchise. If it wasn't for the CGI fire, that took me out. It doesn't look good. And visually, I'm like, okay, that's a mix for me. But I do think it was fun. I did have fun with that. Another mix for me is going to be the kills. The kills do not match the stakes here, and we're going to get into another problem in the movie, but we'll go to the negatives. But I like the kills, but they don't match with the stakes and how people survive in the movie. It just doesn't really align up, but I do think they're mixed for me. Going into the negatives, the glaring one for me is definitely going to be the killer reveal. One was very obvious to the point in the moment of screen, I'm like, okay, it is going to be that person. And I made one guess that there was some person helping them, but I was wrong on that front. Didn't suspect one, but the other I was like, okay, it is so glaringly obvious it is them. And I was right. But the big problem I have with it is this is the weakest motivation. I don't really like what the underlying thing about what this character says and the implication of that. Personally, I'm not a big fan of what that says. I just not a fan of this character. And I don't know, not a fan of that. They also have multiple chances in this movie where characters get hurt, but they just get scotch-free. And believability, I'm like, come on. At one point, Mindy gets hurt, Chad gets hurt, but they're fine by the end of the movie. Somehow. Speaking of, how are they still alive? I don't know. I'm not very... and there's like someone gets thrown through a window at one point, someone gets stabbed sometimes and they're fine. There's one point where a cop goes into a garage knowing this is happening, the husband, and doesn't do as like the cop thing to do. He just does. I don't believe how that cop would do that. Any person would do that in a second, especially a cop. I don't know how he lived that long after what happened to him. There's just multiple things that are just like, you have to take a lot of believability out of this movie to make it work at multiple points in the movie. It's just scattered throughout. Also, I appreciate how they handled the stew thing, and I did like that. However, the execution of it again, I understand what they're saying with AI. I'm not going to pretend I understand that. But the lines they give and everything, it is not as effective as they want it to be. it does not just, I'm not a big fan of that. One killer I will say, I don't know how many, I don't know. How many Ghostface would you count in this movie? Comment down below, because it's either two numbers, but we'll get into spoilers. I also want to say, like, it's not very good in that aspect of the movie. Going on to the spoilers. Oh my god. The killer reveal is the next door's neighbor's mother, who I pretty much guessed instantly. Her son was very suspicious, so I'm like, it's either the son or the mom, or one of them is probably helping the other. I was wrong about the son. She actually did kill her own son, which was... And her motivation with the Sydney Now in Darkness book, I don't like the implication that she killed her abusive husband and that's how she became that way. Personally, I just don't like how that was executed. I don't like the execution. She got sent away. I don't like that implication. And the other killer reveal, I can't remember his name on the top of my head. He kind of came out of nowhere. When she goes to the facility for Stu, he was the one that lied to her about him being there and how they met. Speaking of the killers, is there 2 or 3 killers? Because I count 2, but technically there's 3. I don't know how to count that in the final Ghostfaces. Do you count 2? Do you count 3? I count the 2, but also you can't ignore the first one because they technically did go after the first one. I don't even know. And the motivation, again, toxic fandom has been in really prominently in all of the movies, starting from 5 to 7. That was motivation for 5. That was part of 6. This was part of motivation with 7. And the multiple times, like, how are you telling me someone gets thrown through a window with glass and you're not even stabbed by the glass? Like, they're glass free. Like, how would you even make that possible? How is Sydney standing in the middle of the street, not making her surroundings, talking to her daughter through a security camera? Like, there's usually more than one. How's Mindy still here? Mindy got stabbed in the train. She got stabbed in this movie. Like, we don't need Mindy in this movie. I'm not a big fan of Mindy's character. I don't mind Chad, but Mindy taking over Gale's kind of future, I also don't really understand. In movies, we have the character that knows horror, but I'm not a big fan of her becoming like the next Gale. I would have rather preferred the one we came before where he was trying to help her. I would rather have got him, but not, I don't know, I'm just not very happy with that. McKenna Grace is in this one. She was like the first kill. That was actually, honestly, kind of fun. I'm not gonna lie, that was fun. So overall, and again, going back to the cop thing, like, you're telling me a cop is going... Like the cats, guys. You're telling me a cop is going in this garage, not looking at his surroundings at all, stabbed brutally, it somehow survives all of that for, we don't know the exact timeline, but hours, because it was daylight and that was the nighttime. So I don't even know how you survived that long. I don't know. And Stu, they say, is dead. Now I hope they don't bring him back for 8, because I do think the movie making fun of people for having that fandom for so long. Yeah. The 3 killers' names are Jessica, who is the neighbor. I just don't like the vibe of Jessica. I don't like how she puts the words in when she explains herself to Sydney. It rubs me the wrong way. She also kills her own son. I'm not a fan of you, Jessica. Marco, he was the professional they met at the mental health facility. He was also the one who did the AI deepfakes. And we have Carl. Carl's a patient at the facility. Jessica met them through the facility, and the motivation for all of them was trying to make Tannum into the new final girl. And is that the worst motive? Technically, no. In execution, it is the worst motive, because they are the worst killers for me of this entire franchise. So, overall, this is not a very good Scream movie. I don't recommend this for Scream fans. If you want to go watch it, I would recommend waiting for streaming. Comment down below what you think of Scream 7. Do you like it? not like it? And if so, what'd you like or not like about it? Comment down below, and I will see you guys soon with a brand new video.